lots to talk about with my next guest. His name has been bandied about a lot. You have DNC Vice Chair David Hogue, who took exception to a comment that Congressman Jim Clyburn made about running for re-election. You've got other progressives blasting him, but you've got folks saying, wait a minute, why do these white liberals keep going after black members of Congress? If you're going to criticize Congressman Clyburn because of his age, why people are so quiet about Steny Hoyer, Nancy Pelosi, and others? Well, Congressman Jim Clyburn joins us right now. Congressman, always glad to have you here. I got to read this for you. I saw this tweet earlier that I got a kick out of. So Cenk Uygur with the Young Turks made this comment. He said, why do we have to, so Bakari Sellers said, I like David, is it David Hogg or David Hogue? I want to pronounce his name right. The young man of the DNC.
I don't know. I call him Hogg.
All right. So Bakari tweeted 2 days ago, I like David Hogg, don't know David, but the audacity to tell Clyburn to get over himself is wild. Because on Bill Maher's show, he said there have been a few members that have come out that have said, if I retire, my life is effectively over. Get over yourself. This isn't about you. So Cenk Uygur responded saying, why do we have to have respect for Clyburn? What a weird ask. Here's a man who has hurt progressives more than anyone in Congress, who is a lifelong politician and serves the corporate donor class loyally and even worked with GOP to cost Democrats an extra seat in South Carolina. No thanks. And so you have these young folks out here saying that there are too many older members. So what do you say to that?
Well, thank you very much for having me, Roland. First of all, I've never been on Dave Maher, what's his name?
Bill Maher's
show. Never have been on it. I don't know where he got that from. I've never said anything like that in my life because I don't even believe that. The fact of the matter is, I look forward to retiring and spending time on the golf course. So this is not my life. I retired from state government and ran for Congress. I ran for Congress in a very crowded field, and I won with 56% of the vote. And no runoff was required. And so I respond to the people of the 6th Congressional District of South Carolina. They own this seat. I meet with these constituents regularly. I just finished 4 town halls. I'll have 2 next week. And I've had them at the behest of people in the district. And I've been called by people from North Carolina, Georgia, asking me to come to their congressional districts for town hall meetings. And so I respond to Democratic voters. I don't know who these people are who are tweeting and saying whatever they say, but I can say the premise is certainly just not true. I don't consider my life to be over if I don't serve in Congress. I lived a long time.
They're apparently quoting some Wall Street Journal article. They said the Wall Street Journal quoted you said, quote, Nancy left her seat, Steny left his seat, I left my seat. What the hell am I supposed to do now? What do you want me? What do you want me to give up my life? And so that's what they're basing this whole thing on. Maybe
I should have said, do you want me to commit suicide? I mean, that's what, jump off a bridge or something. What do you want? This seat belongs to the people. When the folks in my caucus decided they wanted to go young, I assist with that effort. And that is what the caucus can do. Now, the caucus doesn't own the 6th Congressional District seat, no more than the caucus owns Steny Hoyer's seat or Nancy Pelosi's seat. I'm younger than both of them. So we run in our congressional districts at the behest of our constituents. So I don't know what they're talking about. That is just the way things are. I have no idea whether or not I'm going to run for re-election. I'll make up my mind at my annual family meeting later this year. And you know when that takes place. And we'll decide at that time in consultation with my party here in South Carolina, as well as the constituents that I serve. And so David Hogg or Hogue or whoever it might be won't be making that decision. My constituents will do that.
You'll be 85 in July. Congresswoman
Right.
Maxine Waters is going to be 87 in August. So when you hear people say, I'm sick of these people, they too old, they've been here too long, there are a lot of people who love the fire and the vigor of Congressman Maxine Waters. And look, I've been to South Carolina. I know how your constituents feel about you. I know how Congressional Black Caucus members feel about you as well. And so when you hear people say, well, we need to get rid of these folks who are too old. And look, I understand that argument when you're talking about folks who have been ill, who have been sick. You've had two Democrats who passed away this year. One from Arizona, of course, my frat brother, my alpha brother, former mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, passed away as well. But there are members who still got a lot of fight in them. So what do you say to folks who say, look, you keep saying I'm too old. Listen, all you got to do is run against me if you want the seat.
Well, I say the seat belongs to the people of the 6th Congressional District. I have opponents every time in the Democratic primary. Last time I had an opponent, I think they had 2 opponents. And they shared 8% of the vote, and I got 92%. In the general election, I usually get 60%. And so I know that constituents let their feelings be known. I go to church in this district. I go to meetings in this district. I talk to people in this district. And quite frankly, I feel very comfortable with the people I serve. And they seem to be pretty comfortable with me.
What's interesting to me is a lot of people, and this is sort of strange to me, they blame you for President Joe Biden because your endorsement was hugely important for him in South Carolina. But I got to remind people, he didn't win all the delegates required to be president in South Carolina. There were other primaries for the people who supported Bernie Sanders. I keep saying, hey, if Bernie was the choice, voters in other states could have chose him. So, what do you make of the folk who are constantly complaining that you're the problem for helping Joe Biden when, listen, there were a lot of people who ran in 2020, and hell, if the progressive voters wanted somebody else, they could have picked somebody else.
Absolutely. And it's kind of interesting to me because anybody who want to blame me for Joe Biden, I accept that. I'm very proud of that. I do believe that if you look at Joe Biden's record, the own substance, he comes as good as they get. Second to Lyndon Baines Johnson in production, in substance. Now, Joe Biden's style doesn't fit a lot of people. My style don't fit a lot of people. The fact of the matter is, there's no substitute for substance. And you look at Joe Biden's record, how can you argue with the record? It's clear. You said the polling numbers were bad. Was that on substance or was that on style? And I still maintain that Joe Biden had a very productive presidency. And I do believe that he will go down in history based upon that production. I don't apologize for Joe Biden. In fact, I take great pride in it.
How do you respond if critics say Congressman Jim Clyburn, he's not progressive enough? He blocks progressive policies. We need more progressive leadership. How do you respond to that?
Well, I would like to look at the record. What determines progressivity? If it's your record, show me who's got a more progressive voting record than I've got. I'd like to know where the difference is. And if you look at, it's just, I don't call people names. I can find profanity. You didn't want to use it. I just don't use profanity in the public. I don't even use, some people talk about 3 4-letter words. That there's a 3-letter word that I never try not to use. LIE. My parents did not allow me to use that word. And so I just don't have a style to go around calling people's names. I'd rather make headway than to make headlines. If you're looking for headlines, then you got to find somebody else. If you're looking to make headway, then I'm your guy. And look at the production, and I think you agree to me. Let me give you a couple of things. When I got elected to Congress, we didn't have a single national park in historic South Carolina. We now got 3. We didn't have a single heritage corridor in this historic state where the Reconstruction era began here in South Carolina. We now have 4. And guess what? All 7 of those things have got one thing in common. They are my bills. I created all of them. And so when people say, you've never done anything, ask them, who created the Rural Energy Savings Program that I got the Legislator of the Year award from the National Electric Co-ops because of that program? Who got the 10, 20, 30 funding formula that's now in 17 sections of the appropriations bills? I can go on, and I'll ask, what progressive do you measure progressivity by the bills you introduce or by the bills you get passed? And when you measure by the bills you get passed, I'm sitting, as we say down here in the South, in pretty high cotton.
I do want to talk about what's going on right now. Today, Donald Trump flew in on a State Department plane, 50 white Afrikaners, enlisting them as refugees, providing them housing, food assistance, things along those lines. He claimed that they are facing racial discrimination in South Carolina, in South Africa. First of all, there was 2 things that were similar. That is South Carolina when it came to the Civil War and apartheid in South Africa. Those were 2 things very much in common. But what's crazy to me is that was a law that prevented Black people from owning land. And he's talking about how land has been taken from whites there, when whites make up 7% of the population in there, but they own more than 70% of the land. And I have been trying to explain to people this constantly. Donald Trump wants white immigrants. He does not want Black and brown immigrants in America.
Well, he said it. How many times would he need to say it? And when you refer to the home countries of people of color as S-hole countries, what is he saying? When we just got the recognition of white South Africans, and there are Black South Africans, and why can't they get visas to come into the country? When he talks about immigration, he makes it very clear that he sees immigration as being white only. And now there's a biblical scripture, as you know, I grew up in a parsonage. I think it's found in around the 7th chapter of the book of St. Matthew's. It says, it is not their words by which we know them. It's their deeds by which we know them. And so no matter what Trump may say to the contrary, look at what he is doing. Look at what he's doing to the National African American Museum. Look at what he's doing to the first African American woman to head up the Library of Congress. And she only had 1 year left in the 10 years, but he fired her. Why? Simply because he wants to demonstrate to certain people in this country how anti-Black he can be. It's just that simple. And so when I see, as I did last week, right here in South Carolina, 3 African Americans on TV saying they voted for Trump the last time and they're going to vote for him, they will vote for him again. And the gentleman says, yeah, I know he's an a-hole, but he's authentic. Now, come on. Ku Klux Klansmen, white supremacists, they're all authentic. So you're telling me I will abide with your racism so long as you're being authenticated. I'm not too sure what that really means in this country we're currently living in.
I have some other questions, but I want to let my panelists also get in here. First up is Melinda Hale. She's an actress and creator of Black Voices Heard Project. Melinda, what's your question for Congressman Jim Clyburn?
I just want to understand how we are trying to pass this policy when it's like a fake moral panic. And so I'm just curious when it comes to Donald Trump wanting to bring these white South Afrikaner refugees to the States, how he's going to really push this narrative that they are in trouble versus the Black and brown refugees who actually are fleeing dictatorship and have political unrest in their countries or economic instability.
Well, if you're looking to me for an answer, I don't know. I don't think he can reconcile that. And I don't think he's going to try. I think he's doing what he's doing in order to send signals. He would hope that we in the Congress would raise issues about it so that he can say to his so-called MAGA base, I told you so. So I think that's what's going on here. I don't believe that he cares one bit about how it looks or how it feels to other people.
Kelly Bethea, communications strategist. Kelly, what's your question for Congressman Jim Clyburn?
Hi, Congressman. Good evening. My question is centered around the fact that we know now for sure that the Republicans, Donald Trump's administration in particular, is following Project 2025 almost to a T, page for page. And I guess my question to you is, do you know whether there is an answer for the Democrat side to Project 2025? And I ask that because I will never say that the Dems are doing absolutely nothing, that we're not hearing from them, blah, blah, blah. But it does appear that the answer that we are seeing out of Democrats are a lot more fragmented, and it doesn't seem as cohesive as what appears to be the united front of the Republican Party, be that good, bad, or indifferent. So my question is there a cohesive, unified front answer from the Democrats to the Republicans' Project 2025?
Well, no, there's not one single answer to it. As you know, Project 2025, if my memory serves, is about 950 pages. I went through that document before the Democratic Convention last year, and you may recall when I spoke at the convention, I said this: Project 2025 is Jim Crow 2.0. Now, some people went after me for saying that. Well, I'm going to say it again. Project 2025 is Jim Crow 2.0. And I think it's being borne out. So I don't understand why people are spending so much time talking about people's ages when we know that the seat that I sit in is, I don't care if you're 85 or 25, it's a Democratic seat. but that's one of 213. We need 218 in the House of Representatives in order to make law. So nobody is spending any time on those other seats, except maybe yours truly. I was in Nancy Mace's district last week. I was in the 4th Congressional District the week before, trying to create the possibilities of picking up Democratic seats. So that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us spending time and resources in districts not held by Democrats. And when you've got somebody running out there saying, I'm going to raise $10 million to run people against incumbent Democrats, what does that get you? Replacing one of the 213 gets you nothing. You got to pick up some of those other 5 seat districts in order for us to change what's happening in Washington. Mm-hmm. And so I would think that we ought to really focus. Now, let me tell you what Democrats are doing. Hakeem Jeffries is doing an exceptionally good job. He, like all of us, have got to keep our caucus together to fight this new budget that's coming down. We've got to do what is necessary to maintain Social Security, to keep creditable Medicare and Medicaid, what I would call affordable housing. We have got to keep our caucus together, and we have got to try to do what's necessary to pick up 4 or 5 votes on the other side in order to stop this budget. We are not going to stop this budget with this circular firing squad that seem to be running around all over the country, shooting at people who are working hard to try to get things done. Now, let me give you an example of what is happening in a lot of places in the media. People look at Social Security. I see all kinds of stuff about Social Security need to be gotten rid of because they ain't going to be there for the young people of today. Social Security is there for young people right now. I know plenty of people in my congressional district who are 18, 19, and 20 years old receiving Social Security because they're getting survivor benefits that come from a parent or grandparent who has passed on to them the benefits that they get for surviving with Social Security. So Social Security is not anything that's just there for older people. Young people, 15, 16, 17 years old right now benefit from Social Security. Medicaid. Medicaid is not just there for low-income people. It's there for everybody who needs nursing home care right now. And let me tell you how that benefits. You got a parent or a grandparent need to be in a nursing home, get rid of Medicaid, nursing homes go away, then who will have to take care of that parent or grandparent? So I think we need to focus on exactly what is going on in Washington. These people are trying to create an underclass and make that underclass a poor class. That is what is going on.
Attorney John Quell Neal out of Atlanta. John Quell there? Guys, let me know if she's there. All right, let me know what's going on here. Carter, let me ask you this question here. I got to get your take on this grifter in chief happily accepting this $400 million plane from Qatar. His family settled that lawsuit. They announced that resort $5.5 billion on the continent. They keep doing these deals. He's selling this meme coin. He's hosting this dinner for people who buy his coins. For all the people who attack Hunter Biden for selling art, and MAGA held all these hearings about alleged corruption with Joe Biden, Republicans, your fellow House members, Senate members, are absolutely silent over this grifter in chief that occupies the Oval Office.
You know, there are a lot of things wrong with this airplane business. It is not just about grifting. This guy, I don't know of anything that I've seen since I've been in government. And I've been around government a long, long time. I've been on this earth a long time. I've never seen anything like this. I never thought I would live to see the day that the American people will accept this kind of violations of our Constitution. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. And let me say a couple other things about that. This is also about a security issue. In 1972, I was in the Soviet Union. And when we were in the Soviet Union, we could not go, but we had to go to temporary embassies. Why? You may recall that we built a new embassy in Moscow. And what happened? We found out that they had put listening devices throughout that building, inside the walls, and it was so bad, they had to tear it down. We never could occupy it. Now we're going to get an airplane made in a foreign country and going to have the White House have the discussions that go on that airplane, listened to by people all over the world. How can we possibly sit silently by and allow this to happen? I just don't understand this. We need 218 votes in the House to stop this. And if one of those 218 happens to be Jim Clyburn or Maxine Waters or Steny Hoyer or Nancy Pelosi, so long as they help us get to 218.
John Quayle is back. John Quayle, what's your question for the congressman?
Here, as it relates to the aircraft that you were just talking about, how do you feel as a reference to President Trump accepting this plane as being a violation of the emoluments clause, which requires that Congress approve any kind of acceptance of gifts from foreign governments?
Absolutely. I believe the emoluments clause is there, it's in the Constitution, and Congress has to decide that. And I just don't believe that there are 218 votes in the Congress for that to happen. I know Republicans who will not vote for that. They know how bad that is. They know it's not just him being a grifter. It is about our national security. In order for that plane to be safe, it's going to have to be taken apart screw by screw in order for them to ever be able to determine whether or not it's safe to be discussing national secrets in. So if you don't mind him being corrupt, okay, let's worry about the national security and what that will do if this plane is ever used by our chief executive.
Well, we see the drama that's going on with this guy, and I'm cracking up how Republicans are praising him for this so-called China deal when the end result is that the tariffs are going up and the American taxpayer is being screwed by Donald Trump. So I know that has to tick you off because, listen, the tariffs are impacting employers there in South Carolina, automakers. They're looking at making massive cuts. And this fool is running around talking like he is just the most brilliant negotiator in the world.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought that up. The tariffs. Rural people in this state, farmers, are going to see their crops rot in the fields because they're losing customers overseas. Volvo just announced that it's laying off workers because of tariffs. We just had Donald Trump to say when he was told what this is going to do about employment. I couldn't care less, is what he had to say. And then when he was told that all these ships that we expect to bring goods in are not coming, what did he say? That means we're going to lose less money. So the country is going to lose less money, but that is good. When people lose their jobs, you just don't care. I'm telling you, we need to get real about what's going on here. This is a repeat of the great betrayal. You know, I refer to that period, I don't know if I've talked to you about this, Roland, but I just finished my third book. And this book is about the 8 African Americans that served in Congress from South Carolina before me. The problem is there are 95 years between number 8 and number 9. And the reason there are 95 years there is because of what I call the Great Betrayal. The Great Betrayal took place when Rutherford B. Hayes, the Republican from Ohio, turned his back on those black folks who had voted for him. Those black folks were all members of the party of Lincoln. But Hayes double-crossed them. Everybody keeps talking about the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln. It is also the party of Rutherford B. Hayes. Yes, Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation and issued it. Hayes brought Reconstruction to an end by double-crossing black folks. The Great Betrayal. What we see taking place now, those black folks who voted for Donald Trump, those progressives who voted for Donald Trump, those people who felt it's better to have an authentic white supremacist than to have a black woman here. You about to see the second great betrayal taking place.
The Great Compromise of 1877 was not great for black folks, absolutely. Congressman Jim Clyburn, I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing what the latest dust-up is among these young progressives. And there was somebody who made a comment, Congressman. I blame black media. They're not holding these people to task. And I got to keep reminding people, there are 435 House seats in America. There are some 700,000, and maybe the number's gone up, 700, they represent some 700,000 people. Those are the people who decide who wins congressional seats. Not national voters, not state voters, but literally in that congressional seat. And I've said I don't have any problem with people running against an incumbent. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. But if you want to beat somebody, what did Muhammad Ali said? If you want the champ's belt, you got to beat the champ. That's how it is. If you want somebody else to be in there, campaign for them, let's see if they win. It comes down to the voters.
Absolutely. And I hope that we will try to do what we can over the next several months to create as many new voters as we possibly can. The fact of the matter is, we are being outvoted because we're being outworked. What Martin Luther King Jr. wrote in his letter from the Birmingham City Jail, he said he was coming to the conclusion that the people of ill will in our society were making a much better use of time than the people of goodwill. And that is what is happening. Last November, the people of ill will made much better use of their time than the people of goodwill. People of goodwill, let's come together and don't let that happen again.
All right, Congressman Clyburn, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.